I've been in those situations where you can start getting really frustrated
Yeah.
and even angry at the things that are not happening, that are outside of our locus of control, that in our minds they should be happening in order to have control. Let's talk about how can we help make that shift, because it's not just a simple,
No.
we said you should focus on what's in your control, so we start doing it. It's not easy to be able to do. Let's talk about some strategies to be able to try and get that mindset focused on what's in within our locus of control. Let's make it clear,
Explicit.
explicit, what is in our locus of control. So we see lots of schools, and we did this for ourselves
Yeah.
too as a school, to be able to say, when we were thinking specifically about students, we said, what are all the factors that are
Yeah.
getting in the way of students having success in our school? We listed them all, and then engaged in a activity, and we'll make sure to share a blog posting that has this activity. It's also in our book Collaborative Response, where we talk about it. We took those post-it notes and started to organize them to, okay, of these factors, what are outside of our control, what are
Things we could
things we could
influence.
influence. We don't have direct control, but we could influence, and then things that are directly in our control. And it
Mhm.
became really helpful to be able to have that as a visual.
Yeah, and I think that exercise does a couple of things. One, it just lays everything out on the table.
Mhm.
And when we do that, when we explain or identify what are the things that are getting in the way, then that there's one level of release in that
A little
is
bit, yeah.
even being able to identify what things are impacting. So one of the first things I think is looking at the structures and processes that you have in your school and thinking about the layers of teams that you have, that we have opportunity to be able to bring forward students that we are concerned about.
Mhm.
And within those layers of teams, we've got lots of opportunity to be able to come up with fantastic possibilities
Mhm.
of next steps.
I think one of the things that we see schools do too, we are huge proponents of create norms.
Oh yeah,
When you meet as teams,
absolutely.
you need norms. Don't work off assumptions, work off things that are clearly communicated. And we see lots of schools within those norms that put right in there. We will primarily focus on things within our locus of control.
Hmm.
Making it clearly articulated and explicit then just helps remind us of that. The norms are almost like our rules of engagement, and by
Hmm.
saying we will primarily focus on things within our locus of control, that's powerful for us as a team.
Well, and when we talked earlier about the fact that it is empowering to be in that place of identifying the things that we can't control, but there are some things that we can control,
Mhm.
and that empowers us to take action.
Yeah.
And so leads to action for students rather than being in that space of blame or venting, even because we sometimes can, or even leading to anger because
Yeah.
you're wanting to be able to create the best environment. But when we clearly identify these are the things we can't control, these are the things we can, so let's focus there.
Mhm.
Let's create action that allow us to have the greatest impact that we can.
Absolutely.